welcome to Conversation Matters. How can I help you? Oh yes, of course. You're right on time. Did you bring your prescription? I'll need to verify some of the information on it. Perfect. Thank you. Let's see. Alternate ideas for Christmas? Yes, that's going to be a good conversation. Absolutely. Here, I'll just give the prescription back to you. You'll need to take it when you go in. Your certified conversationalist is ready if you want to go back. Yeah, just go right through that door. Thank you.
Oh, hello. Come on in. Come on in. Yes, I just got back from vacation. Mm-hmm. Did you have a good holiday? Oh, Thanksgiving is wonderful, isn't it? I love Thanksgiving. Just getting together with my kids. Well, you know, I have the adult children, and I still have a 17-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. I know. I really enjoy my. Well, I consider my one son is not married yet, but I consider both girls like my daughters practically. They've been together for so long. I do have one daughter-in-law. Mm-hmm. My oldest son is married, and my younger son has the most wonderful girlfriend. And we really do. I told her. In fact, my wife and I both told her. Just Sunday, we got together for our Thanksgiving. A little late because I was on vacation, and we told her how much we care about her and think of her as our own daughter. Even now, seriously. Well, when you have somebody in your life that takes care of your son, they've dated on and off since high school. They had their rough patches, but they grew up and they matured. They came back together, and they've been together for, gee whiz, 10 years now, probably. She's been on vacation at least twice with my family, and total angel. Oh, very good to my son. If you're good to my kids, you're good to my wife, well, then you're okay with me. You could understand that. Yes. Oh, my vacation was wonderful. But when you take vacation so close to Christmas, do you know where I'm going with this? I didn't break the bank. We actually spent a lot less than we thought we would. It wasn't as expensive in Europe as I was afraid of, with the money transfer and the exchange rate and everything. It actually was fairly reasonable, because even though you might be paying more for something, you seem to get more, and the quality was all really nice. The food was great, and we only ate we would sit down and get we didn't all get a meal. We'd sit down and get try a couple different meals and different types of food, and then we'd sample and grab some stuff, and then we would just get up and run. We were running around so much in Europe that the food was almost secondary to the experience of just tasting different things and enjoying the culture. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. When I go to England, give me fish and chips. Let me walk in a fish store, walk right up, order fish and chips, and I'm the happiest man in the world. We got a half portion of fish and chips and a whole portion of fish and chips. My wife and my daughter couldn't eat the whole portion together. The fish is amazing, and it's so fresh. It's I used to fish a lot when I was younger, and there is nothing better than filleting, the fish, especially walleye or crappie or, even white bass. And you get those fillets right out of the lake, and you fry them up or cook them, broil them in the oven, and the fish is so flaky and just comes apart. And, to get that fresh right out of the ocean, right out of the lake, Lake Erie's like an ocean to us in Ohio, where I live. It's just an amazing thing. And then you get, fish at the store, and it's like frozen patties. And it's good. It's good. We get decent fish in Ohio, even though we don't live on the coast. But it just doesn't compare to going to like if you go to South Carolina or Florida, I remember one time years ago we went to Louisiana, and the shrimp and the fish down there, the catfish and the shrimp, just taste like candy practically. It's so fresh and light, and it's got a creaminess to the meat, and the texture's so delicious. It's almost like not eating meat. It's like eating. I really do compare it to eating candy. When you've had nasty, dry, stale, frozen fish, and then you get the fresh stuff. Just an abundance of it on the coast, anywhere in the United States. It's so different. And I know I'm going on and on about fish and everything, but I could go to English and never step foot in a restaurant. The whole time I was there, I had more fun going down the street, and you'd see a fish shop, fish and chip shop, and I would run in there if it was time for dinner or lunch. We would get a little bit of fish and chips and all share and taste it, and every time I got an order of fish and chips, I always said, this is the best I've ever had. And my family agreed. We were like, this is the best fish and chips we've ever had. It was so amazing. I know it's silly. Well, I think I told you, but maybe I didn't tell you that I told my daughter, well, this trip, since it was around Thanksgiving, we were just going to treat it as an early Christmas. They had the Christmas decorations up, Christmas villages all over Germany. We were in Germany for a short time. And oh my goodness, the German people, they love Christmas like they do in the United States. And they are amazing. The shops, the open shops all over, the street vendors, all the treats and the decorations and the ornaments. It was just, Germany is so lovely. There's a certain feel to Germany that is so American, and America is so German. We really are brothers and sisters, the Germans and the English and the French. We really need to understand that we're not that different. And there's so many similarities. And the Germans just, I really admire how they go crazy about Christmas like we do here in the United States. And in England, they're a little more reserved. They're just now starting with the Black Friday stuff over in Europe. America's trying to export the great Black Friday sales to Europe. And they were pointing it out. My friends were pointing it out to me in different shops in England and Europe. And I don't know, it gave me a twinge of like, that's not really, we're exporting that. The United States could export so many things, but that's what we're exporting? Black Friday sales? I was a little taken back by it all. I saw a little bit of America in the shop windows as I walked through the streets of Europe. That probably wasn't the part I wanted to see. Oh yeah. It was wonderful. And the weather was, I knew going in November, the weather wasn't going to be the greatest, but my wife and my daughter love to shop, and you can do shopping anytime. And the temperature was quite comfortable for all the walking and running around we did. We walked like 5 to 7 miles a day, honestly. And oh my gosh, all the fish and chips I was eating, you'd think I would have gained weight. And I had, little treats here and there and candy and cookies whenever I decided to. I actually lost a lot of weight because we were sweating to the oldies. We were running up and down the streets of those old cobblestone streets in England, and just, my goodness, we had a wonderful time. I want to go back. I really do. Yeah, and my daughter basically got to shop unrestricted, get what you want. It's Christmas. And she was thrilled because she's 17. And I'll tell you a secret. Your kids your kids are little. My kids had all the, the Hot Wheels and the toys and the train sets and the video games and all that stuff. I had to get the newest video game system. You had to get those special games that they wanted for the Nintendo or the, then they moved on to the Xbox, and they had the Sony PlayStation. They had them all. They drove me nuts with all that garbage. And they actually grew out of all that, which was really nice because I'm not a big video game guy myself. So it was nice to see my children kind of grow out of that and kind of lose interest in it and get other interests and other things that they were more interested in. And as they got older, it got really hard. We would have those grand Christmases, with the presents all over the place and just a ridiculous amount of money spent. And it was just silly, silly money being spent. And you had to keep topping yourself every year. And it was always good when you had that year with the bicycles, because bikes are so big, and the kids they come out and see that bicycle there and they just freak out. So, and then, the other ones that are exciting is when, they had the new game system. And you got the new Nintendo 64 was a big deal. That was a big Christmas. The kids were so happy. But you can't keep topping yourself. And when the time your kids get to be teenagers, you start, it reaches a point where it's just junk. You're literally just buying your kids more junk to pile up in a stack or put on a shelf somewhere. And my kids were always appreciative of their toys and presents and always played with everything. But I have to be honest, you really, it just becomes redundant after a point. It's not as exciting as it used to be. And it's not even as exciting for them. You have those Christmases where you think you did well and the kids seem kind of down after it. They just didn't have that magic moment, that very, very special present that they really, really craved or wanted. They always gave us lists and we always met their lists, but maybe once they got it in person, they realized, well, I got everything on my list. Well, there was no excitement. You knew what you were going to get. So as my kids got older, I started to say, well, basically you're giving me a list and you're getting what you want. Santa gets you what you want. When they're little, you do the whole Santa thing to get them excited and get them to, just so they'll go to bed at night. I think that's what Santa's all about. Just someone, please help me get these kids to go to bed at night. And you start to reason with them and you get them to realize, hey, instead of spending this money on Christmas, why don't we put it down on a family trip to, say, Disney World? We did that one year. No presents. They got like a couple shirts, couple pair of pants, and that was about it. And they were a little, hesitant and a little nervous because Christmas was like usually lots of presents and they didn't get them. And I said, now just relax. We're going to go shopping before we go to Disney, because Disney was the Disney vacation in January, off season, was our Christmas gift. We only went for about 5-6 days. It was a little destination holiday, a Christmas present for the whole gang. All 5 of us went, my 2 older sons and my daughter. But my sons really didn't get that many presents. They only got a few. Literally, maybe I think we spent like $100 on each boy, getting them some shirts and pants they needed. And I said, no, in January, I got some money coming in. And when I get the money in, I'm going to take everybody shopping. Get yourself some new shoes for the trip, whatever you need. And then we'll drive. We were driving that trip. We didn't fly. Because my daughter wanted to buy stuff. When she wants to buy stuff, I hate flying because it's, you get all the junk and you're trying to bring it home in an airplane. I'd rather just fly down or drive down, which it's quite a drive, but it also gives you a chance to talk and spend time with each other as a family. And there is something about that long trip in a car with a family that really gets people to open up and, talk, and you get some stuff out in the open that maybe normally you couldn't talk about. So I'm going all over the place. But, okay, Christmas came and went. The boys were a little disappointed. They were over 18, both of them, and they didn't get a lot of stuff. So they were a little sad. I said, well, don't worry, you're not getting shortchanged here. I took them to a sporting goods store, and I bought them new socks and shoes, really fancy tennis shoes, walking around shoes. And I said, get 2 pair. Get 2 pair. So you have them. And these boys were so thrilled. And I'm like, see, isn't this better than silly presents on the tree? You got 2 pair of shoes that you really need. They fit. You picked them out. You got what you wanted. They're comfortable. They fit perfect because you went and got them. You got some shirts. You got a jacket. They got all this nice stuff, really quality sporting goods stuff. And the sales are incredible after the holidays. Like, I might have spent, and it's not a bragging thing, family, it costs money, right? I spent $200 or $300 getting everybody any kind of clothing, shoes, whatever they needed at the sporting goods store. I spent $200 or $300, but I probably got like double that. But every single thing was on sale. So I saved a fortune. And then everybody's focused. Now Christmas is over. Everybody's focused on the trip. Everybody got what they needed for the trip. And it took literally, we drove to the store on the way to Florida, and everybody got what they needed on the way there. And everybody was happy. They had brand new clothes, brand new shoes to wear, and it really brings an element to the, and it took like an hour. Like when usually you shop for people at Christmas, it takes hours, days to get everything right. I went to a sporting goods store. They were packed with, merchandise. You know, after the holidays, they just stocked right back up. We're talking like early January. So Christmas is over. They just stocked up their store again, and they had a huge sale, and I made out like a bandit, and my family was thrilled. Everybody was thrilled. So, you know, you jump in the car, you go on a 5-day trip. Everybody had a great time, and it was a really memorable trip. And because we went off season around Christmas, you know, you want to keep those kind of trips close to the holidays so that they still have a relevance. You know, these destination trips. Because it was off season in January, it was a lot reduced price for everything. The room was cheaper, the meal plan for Disney, the tickets are the same price, but we saved a lot of money, and it was a really cool, fun trip, and everybody got to do something fun and have a memorable time. And we planned this trip for Europe right around Christmas. Same thing. My daughter's 17. She has literally everything she needs. She really doesn't need clothes. She doesn't need toys. She's beyond toys now. She's older. And she likes to collect little My Little Pony things and Hello Kitty stuff. Well, they have a Hello Kitty store right there in London. So go there and buy what you want. Get what you want for Christmas. My daughter was thrilled to death. She had such a good time. And you know what? I tell everybody the same thing. Here's the secret, mom and dads out there. And I'm telling you to your face. You save money. You save half to 3/4 the money you would spend if you take your kid to the store and say, get whatever you want. Turn them loose. Get whatever you want. They buy all the stuff they want. They're gathering it all up, and they realize how much they're spending. And it kind of gets them a little nervous. Like, oh my gosh, I'm spending too much. This is too much. It's too much. Well, it's okay when mom and dad do it times 3. But when the kid does it, if you've raised them right, they start to see, oh my gosh, I got like $300 worth of merchandise here on the table. There's 3 or 4 bags of junk here. Now, so I did buy some items for my friends too, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, we spent $350. That's too much money. Too much money." It really sinks in. I'm telling you. And then instead of you going all over to every store buying everything you can think of to, you know, make Christmas magical, to have a huge pile of presents on the tree, when you put all this stuff together, it's not when I say small bags, you know, like not even grocery bag size, but I think you all know what I mean. 3 nice sized gift bags full of stuff. If you wrapped it all up, put it on the tree, it would be a small pile. But your kid is thrilled to death. Your kid thinks, oh my God, I'm a millionaire. I went in and I just blew that money. I got whatever I wanted. It really makes a difference. Instead of spending $900, $1,000 on your kid, you spend $300 or $400. Your kid has everything they wanted, and they're happy. You save money in the long term. Plus, we did it together as a family. We stood right there and said, get whatever you want. I even threw a couple things. Get that, get that, get that. I don't know if I want to buy it. It's $30, or I don't want to buy it. It's too much money. I didn't see it. We picked out things she missed. We picked out things she was scared to get because it was too much money or she didn't think it was worth it. So we did it as a family. It becomes an experience, a Christmas experience that you shared together. And she's going to remember that, or he's going to remember that, you know, if you have a boy. They're going to remember that dad or mom went out and did that for them. That was more important than some magical, opening up presents and, did you like it? Do you like it? Do you like it? Over and over again. Let them get what they want. And then they're happy. And believe me, she was thrilled. She had the time of her life. Get what you want, and it ends up being cheaper in the long run. Just a little secret. And the other thing about these destination Christmases, a lot of families, they can't do both. And I do okay. I don't have a job. My wife has a good job. We do okay. But you're not made out of money. You know what I'm saying? We all have budgets and limits. As your kids get older, combining a vacation or a destination like, hey, there's that indoor water park up in Cleveland where I live. We're going to go up there for 3 days. We're going to call it a birthday party for the kid. You can take a couple of friends. When it's all said and done, you still have cake, you still have ice cream, you still have a nice little dinner with the kids, a pizza party, whatever, and the kids have a memory. But when you're done, you can go back to the room and get some sleep and let them clean it up. There is something to be said about that. Think about this. Dad doesn't think about this all the time, but I'm going to help dads out here. You take mama on a destination cruise or a destination vacation, right? 3-4 day cruise for the holidays. Mom doesn't have to cook. Mom doesn't have to do dishes. Mom doesn't have to sweep and clean the floors. She doesn't have to spend all day in the kitchen prepping all that food. You go to the cruise. The meals are included. You get a nice room with a view of the ocean. And you tell mom, when I say mom, you mean your wife, your loved one, the person you're in love with. I wanted you to have a vacation with no work involved. All I want you to do is look pretty and enjoy all the meals and not have to do any of the work cleaning up. And I'll tell you what, she will be happy. Well, my wife knew I was buffaloing her. She knew I was up to no good, so it didn't benefit me that much. But I still had my fun. I know, it's combining a vacation with a holiday might sound like, well, you spent, you can get a cruise for $300 a piece sometimes. So say you were going to spend $150 on maybe a birthday present or something. But do it for a special one, like your 20th anniversary, or if your wife's turning 40 or something like that. Make it special. So what you do is, you spend $600 maybe, but all of the meals, the room, and everything's included in those cruises. So you're basically done unless you're drinking alcohol or gambling, or you want to do some, shopping and all that. And then they have a gratuity thing at the end that's not that bad. You got to look into it. It's not that expensive. You don't have to tip during the actual cruise either, so you don't have to worry about money. You don't even have to have your wallet on you. You go up, you eat at the buffet for lunch and breakfast, and then they have a nice fancy dinner. You can skip the dinner and just go to the buffet that they serve. And you can have room service. They bring that right to your room. I'm pretty sure that's all free, but they have a bar in your room, like a little refrigerator, and if you open that up and drink out of there, you have to, of course, pay for the alcohol. But they even have packages for that, and it's really reasonable. I've been on cruises. They're real comfortable. They're not expensive. I don't know what I prefer, but I do want to do more of the European discovery thing. I want to go to Europe. I want to spend time in Wales, maybe see Scotland, maybe even go to Ireland one day. Well, the thing is, I want to be a good ambassador for my own country too, and I want people to meet Americans and see that we really aren't that different, and that it's important to me that we all get to meet each other and we all get along. And I make the effort to meet people and spend time with strangers and make friends. I made so many friends on this trip and met so many of my friends in real life, and it was truly a blessing. And once again, it was a destination experience. It was a Christmas experience to sit and have dinner with Tom and Amy, and then with Peggy and Bob. These are all friends of mine. I never met them in real life. And then just to spend time at Stonehenge with my friends, Perception ASMR was there, and Periwinkle Rose ASMR. And then I met all these wonderful people like Jim ASMR and Tippy Tappy ASMR and loads of friends and viewers in London. And then I met my wonderful friend ASMR Zeitgeist. And we had so much fun just being together. I didn't film enough. I didn't take enough photos. All I did was make memories. And I kept looking at my daughter, and I thought, I am in Europe with my daughter, and she's talking to these people. She's meeting real people and getting to know them, and they're getting to know her. And she's getting a real, invaluable experience. The food is great. Taking pictures of the monuments is cool. Driving around in taxis and buses and trains is so interesting to an American. And seeing these ancient monuments and these cool cities all over Europe and England is amazing. But I would tell you for a fact that meeting friends, making friends, lifelong friends, building relationships with people across the ocean, and being able to experience that country through their eyes and how they interpret the world, which is not very different than us here, was priceless. Being with friends was honestly priceless, and I can't put a word on that. And you don't get that when you're sitting around opening up presents under the Christmas tree. Yeah, all that was great, and we did all that. But as you get older and more mature, and your children grow, and they move out and everything, turn Christmas and the holidays and birthdays into an experience. Make it something that you will last a lifetime, of memories. And I assure you, you will not be disappointed. I have never gone on vacation and not come away with the biggest smile on my face and the most wonderful, wonderful new friends, experiences, and just tastes and flavors that you just can't get unless you take the chance and go out and see part of the world. So give it some thought. And I hope this was a fun little talk and conversation. I have to be honest too. I know very few people will probably be listening right now because it's always at the end. But I want you to know, every single person I met was so supportive and so kind and generous with their time and everything, that I really do feel blessed. And I can't tell you enough what it's like to know that there are still more good than bad people in the world. And I want to be a part of that. And I want to be that person for those friends of mine as well. I want to take strangers and I want to make them into my friends. It's always better to have an ally than an enemy. And I do feel truly blessed. I don't like to say it because you never know. I could die tomorrow, knock on wood, but I would die a very full and happy life because I have met some of the most wonderful people in the world recently, and I did it because I took a chance and turned Christmas into a family experience. You can do it on small terms too. You can just go get a cabin in the mountains, and that would be fun for people that don't get to see snow. You could go and get a cabin somewhere and let the kids play with snow. And that would be a great Christmas experience for someone who lives, say, in Florida or down south where they don't get that. So it's not about the money, and it's not about, like a high-powered vacation. You can do little vacations that are just as much fun. I keep begging my family just to go on a small car ride up. You go to the Niagara Falls, and then you go to Toronto, visit some friends, come back home. Wouldn't cost that much. Cheap little cheap little car trip, but the memories are amazing. The photos would be amazing. And I'd love to do that too. So those are the kind of trips you have to keep in mind. Sure. And like I said, when you're going on a trip like that, you end up saving money in the long run because you're not wasting it on literally junk that you really don't need in the first place. Well, I'm glad I helped, and I can't wait to talk to you next week. Okay, until I see you again, please have a most blessed day. Okay, it's really nice to see you. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for ASMR TirarADeguello. Remember to stay tuned for the next episode, coming soon. When you have a moment, please take the time to rate and review this podcast. If you are interested in additional ASMR content, you may view our library of videos at youtube.com/TirarADeguello. The theme song, Atlantis, is by Jason Shaw of Audionautics.com and is used by permission. Correspondence, including questions or requests, may be sent to TirarADeguello@gmail.com. On behalf of Dr. Andrew Michaels, thank you.